I'd like to welcome everybody to the September 10th, 2014 City of Rapid City Legal and Finance Committee. The first order of business is a roll call and determination of a quorum. Here. Thank you. Up next is the adoption of the agenda. Do we have any items to add to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to general public comments. I have no speaker request forms for general public comment. General public comment is now a time for members of the public to discuss or express concerns to the council on any issue not on the agenda. Action will not be taken on the meeting on any issue not on the agenda except for placement on the agenda by unanimous vote of the council members present. Once again, I have no speaker request forms. Does anybody wish to speak on anything not on the agenda? We'll move on from general public comment to consent items numbers 1 through 21. I will now open public comment on items 1 through 21. Does anybody wish to speak on any of those items? I have no speaker request forms. I'm going to close public comment on those items and move on to council lights for moving anything from the consent calendar. Chair recognizes Alderwoman Darla Drew.
I'd like to pull item number 7.
Item number 7. Okay, item number 7 is being pulled. Anything else? Mr. Laurenti, anything you'd like to remove from the consent calendar? Okay. Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the items 1 through 21 with the exception of item number 7. Motion has been made by Lordstrom, second by Darla Drew. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are now on to item number 7, which is to authorize the mayor and finance officer to sign fiscal year 2015 agreement for shelter and animal control services between the City of Rapid City and the Humane Society of the Black Hills. And Chair recognizes Darla Drew.
I just have a question for Captain Jigaris.
By all means.
So on the weekends when we don't have the services of the Humane Society, the police department takes up that job. Is that right?
We do after hours and on weekends.
Okay.
And they are available for call out 24/7 if we have a high need for their services. And then I'll just point out to you also that Jackie Harvey, the director of the Humane Society, is present as well.
Do you have any idea, and maybe you've addressed this before, but do you know how many man hours or what the cost to the city is on what our part of that is, that, you know, having the police take those calls?
We do have that information available. I don't have it in my head, and I can get that to you if you'd like.
The only reason is, could I have one of you ladies come over here?
One of you ladies, please step to the podium and identify yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Jackie Harvey, Executive Director.
Yeah, and so I just wondered, I know you guys had some of your funds pulled this year. Is that correct, Jackie?
That's correct.
How much was that?
It was roughly $30,000 a year.
Okay. I'm just wondering if you know, we reinstated that money, if you'd be able to do longer hours or some weekend stuff so that it would take some burden off the police department.
Beginning on the 15th, we are extending our hours. It's not a lot. We're doing from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. at night. And the way we're doing that is we're staggering officer hours because we currently only have 2 officers. So that might be a bit difficult, but, you know, we're open to give it a try.
How many calls do you generally get on weekends? Is that a busy time?
Well, it depends. You know, when we're on call, we tend to do dog bites, aggressive dogs, any type of call that the police department does not feel comfortable doing or needs our assistance on. So it really varies. We tend to be more busy during the summer months.
Okay. All right.
I wish I could give you a definite answer, but it could be from 1 to 50.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm concerned about the amount of money that you get, and I would just like to maybe look into that next year and see if we can possibly find a way to finance you guys a little better. I just think it's a really important service that you provide for our city. So thank you for your work, and then I want to ask Captain Jigaris another question.
That's Chief Jigaris for the record.
Chief Jigaris, thank you very much. Okay, so just so I understand what happens here, they get the call or you get the call when there's a problem with an animal somewhere?
After hours and on the
Yeah.
weekends, we get the call through our dispatch center. And if we need additional assistance, we're able to contact them for call out on a 24/7 basis.
And how do people know that? I mean, how does the public know who to call?
They call our dispatch center and it's all handled internally. If it's during business hours when they have service available, then our dispatch center coordinates with their office. So it's all behind the scenes.
Okay. Well, it just seems to me that when I'm reading the local newspaper and complaints about animals and barking and things like that, it seems to be a big problem for some people. So I just wanted to look into that a little bit more and see if we can get some help for some of these neighborhoods. And I know it's a lot of your burden that you take on. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Are you finished? Chair would recognize Pauline Sumption, the Finance Officer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to mention a couple things. The amount that's actually in this MOU is what has already been approved for the 2015 budget. So if you or the council wanted to give them more money as part of this contract, then we would have to do a supplement to the 2015 budget ordinance already. Second of all, and I don't know where this is at because I kind of was removed from the negotiation process, but at one point, as part of the negotiation process and part of the MOU, we set up fees to license the animals, and actually the Humane Society gets those fees in their entirety. The city does not retain any of it to help offset their expenditures to do this service. That's what helps keep our costs low, or lower than what they would be.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Pauline.
Any further discussion? I need a motion. Entertain a motion to approve. Oh, sorry. Richie Nordstrom.
First of all, let me make the motion to approve, then if I get a second.
Motion approved by Nordstrom, second by Laurenti. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you. Jackie, just a little background, and maybe Chief Jaggers assist us a little bit on the background. There was a reduction in your budget, I'll say 2 years ago, maybe even last year when it took place, and there was some reasons for that reduction in the budget. And then one of the tasks that I asked for is to see if we could do some more supplemental to your budget by marketing and outreach.
That's right.
Are we making any progress in that area?
I believe we are. We just recently hired a new person to help us do that. And so we're moving forward with perhaps somebody who has a little more knowledge and ability to do that.
Is that a grant funding type position that you're looking for, or is it just?
No, it's paid. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, I mean, is it a person that is kind of a
Yes.
development
Yes,
officer?
I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
misunderstood.
yeah.
Yes.
So that person, that'll be their primary charge then, or is
That
it
will be their
full-time? or-
primary, yes, it's a full-time position.
Thank you, Jackie.
You're welcome.
Yield the floor.
Okay, the motion is currently to approve. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Oh, sorry. Chief Jaggers.
I just wanted to point out for the 2015 budget, the amount that was requested and approved was the same as the 2014 budget, so there was no reduction. Reference this next calendar year. And then also I just wanted to point out or remind the council that we worked with the Humane Society over the past year to surplus 2 of our SUVs that had over 100,000 miles, and we were able to transfer ownership to animal control, and that was helpful for them. And I also just wanted to point out that our working relationship with them is going very well, that they have a new staff member on board who has really helped from our perspective.
Thank you, Chief. And I'll go back to Darla Drew. That's Chief Jaggers.
Chief Jaggers, thank you for that information. I believe that a lot of people don't know those kinds of things, and as long as we have this public forum to be able to address and say some of the good things that are going on with these programs, we owe it to our constituents to talk about the budgets and what's going on with what seems to be a very important issue to the people of Rapid City. So thank you for that information.
Any further discussion? The motion is to approve. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. That concludes the consent items. We're now on to non-consent items, and we'll be opening up public comment for non-consent items numbers 22 through 24. Does anybody wish to speak on those items? I have no speaker request forms at this point. Not appearing, I'm going to close public comment on items 22 through 24, and move on to item number 22, which is to approve the audit report for City of Rapid City 2013 Comprehensive Annual. And motion is, I entertain a motion to...
Move to approve.
No, yeah, I'd say, withdraw your motion for a second, would you?
Okay, sure.
Motion's withdrawn. Chair recognizes Pauline Sumption.
As much as I appreciate the fact that you must trust me a lot because nothing is attached to the agenda, I request that you take this to council without recommendation. That way the auditors can give a report.
Thank you, Pauline. That was actually what I was trying to get out of my mouth before Johnny come quickly over here did it. So, all right, motion is to move to council without recommendation by Nordstrom, second by Laurenti. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Item number 23 is second reading recommendation of ordinance 6008, an ordinance to allow child care centers in conditional use and light industrial districts by amending section 17.22.030 of the Rapid City Municipal Code. Motion approved by Laurenti, second by Drew. Motion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion opposed, motion carries. Item number 24 is second reading recommendation of 5998, an ordinance to adopt 2014 National Electrical Code by amending Rapid City Electrical Code found in Chapter 15.16 of the Rapid City Municipal Code. All in favor say aye. We need a motion. Boy, you guys have screwed me up today. Okay, motion is to approve by Laurenti, second by Nordstrom. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn. Yes, I do need some more caffeine. Motion is to adjourn by Nordstrom, second by Laurenti. All in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.